Hi everyone, welcome back to Nick's Diecast. In today's video, I'll be unboxing and reviewing this 1/18 scale 2002 Ford Thunderbird made by Maisto, or Maisto, depending on how you like to pronounce their name. I got this model from eBay for only $30 in total, which includes shipping, and I thought that was an excellent deal, considering that this model is no longer being produced, at least not in this color, because Maisto has actually technically re-released this model to be sold exclusively at Sam's Club, and that version comes in a blue with the same black and red two-tone interior that you see on this red version. And I ended up finding that blue version for my brother, and then I thought I'm going to look on eBay out of curiosity just to see how many of these blue versions are being listed on there, and to see what Maisto Thunderbirds in general are being listed on the site. And I came across a few really good priced red versions of this model. And I thought, this is interesting. And although I have 3 other 1/18 scale 11th gen Ford Thunderbird models, including now 3 from Maisto, which includes this one here, along with one version by the Beanstalk Group, that's the Coral 007 edition model from 2003. But I thought, you know what, this is being listed for a really good price, and maybe I'll get one to display at work or something. And now I have a final generation Thunderbird model in red to put up on the shelf next to my first generation Thunderbird model in red. Similar to my 11th generation Thunderbird in black that I often put out on the shelf with my first generation Thunderbird that is also painted in black. So as you can see, it's in kind of a different style of Maisto box from the early 2000s. This is the standard black and gold look to the box that you saw a lot of Maisto models in, at least from the special edition series at the time. But this box is actually bigger than the typical special edition box from that time period. And you also have this interesting background going on in here too, inside the box. It's kind of like a mountain sort of going on, like a mountain range, and then you have kind of this sky background with various clouds. It does have the name of the car on the base, as you can see here, and then you also have the name of the car taped onto the front of the box, like so. Maisto Special Edition 1/18 in the front there, and then it just says 1/18 Special Edition Maisto on the side flap here. And back here it just says 1/18 Special Edition Maisto. A lot of these boxes from the early 2000s would actually have another window back here that you could see the model through. But this interesting bigger box with that different background. And I have seen some other models from this era made by Maisto listed on eBay in similar boxes where they have this like background in them. So not too sure about that, or not too sure where this came from, but I'm glad that in addition to getting another variation of this particular model, I'm also getting another variation of the older style of Maisto box. So that's pretty cool to see. And as you can see, the model has never been opened up because all the shipping straps are still in place on the various opening fixtures. So that'll be cool to do that. We'll go ahead and get the model out of the box. This part has unfortunately torn, but I will just get a piece of tape and tape that up. I do want to save this box, just one, to store the model in, and two, because it is kind of an interesting box, especially with that background going on in there too. So we'll try to get it out from this side. It might be easier that way. I may end up opening up both sides, not sure yet. But it looks like, oh, it is just cardboard. So I'm not sure, I think we're just pulling this out now. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so it is like a mountain range background. It's actually taped onto the base. Let me see if it says anything. Oh, I forgot to show the bottom of the box. Here's the bottom of the box. It just has all the different licensing information on there. 2001 copyright date, so I assume that's when this model was made. That's actually the year that this model and the real car that it is based on was released, like summer, fall of 2001, or summer 2001, because production of the 11th Gen Thunderbird began in June of 2001. So sometimes you also have a date on one of the side flaps of the box. Let me see if on this side it says anything. I'll just get this opened up and see. Yeah, 7-2001. So that's probably around when the model itself was made. Costco USA. Oh, okay. See, it says that there. So this was a Costco model, or this model was originally sold at Costco, I guess. That's interesting because this is actually a bigger box that's typical for a Maisto model of this time period from the special edition series. And typically wholesale clubs will sell models in the smallest boxes they can to fit more in their like displays or kiosks or shippers or whatever we call them. But wow, that's interesting. An interesting like cardboard background going on in here too. So I'm glad to have that, I guess. That's pretty cool. I always wondered like where these Maisto special edition boxes with this like mountain range and sky background came from, but I guess they were all originally sold at Costco or something. So that's interesting. And this style of box is actually kind of rare too, at least when you look at listings on eBay. So I'm glad to have a model that comes in one of these boxes, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But I'm guessing it should still be held down on the base at least by 2 screws. Yes, it is. So we'll get those unscrewed next. But here's the model at least out of the box and still on the base. But we'll go ahead and get this unscrewed from the base and this cardboard background here. So just gonna have the model. Yeah, that one part isn't fully taped on, but I hope the screws actually move. All right, they're moving. Thank goodness. Sometimes the screws are so tight that it feels like you're stripping them, especially with these models that have been in their boxes for all this time. That's good too. Never encountered a rusty screw as of yet. I'm kind of surprised at that, because I've gotten some models in the past that weren't really stored in the best conditions and needed a lot of cleaning when I got them. So, but this one was obviously well taken care of. A little bit dusty, but we'll clean it up later. All right. Got it unscrewed from the base. And there's our Thunderbird, 2002 Ford Thunderbird in the torch red paint color. Interesting is that the torch red, which is what this is obviously, and the evening black, which is what the other one that I have is, were actually the 2 most popular paint colors for the 02 to 05 Ford Thunderbird models. But here's the Maisto Thunderbird out of the box and off the base. Looks really nice so far. And we'll actually see if this hardtop is removable too. It should be, because my black version and also the yellow version, they both have removable hardtops. And I believe this one should be as well. So once we get these shipping straps removed, we'll see if I can actually get the top off. But wow, I always love the look of this particular car. Not everyone's favorite car, but I happen to like it quite a lot. That's why I now have 4 1/18 scale models of it. But yeah, I'm not going to be getting any more 1/18 scale models of the 11th Gen Thunderbird at this point. This one was just a really good deal, and I do happen to really like the red version as well. And once again, I figured I could bring this to work to display there. So we'll go ahead and get these plastic straps removed from the model next. These should be easy enough to remove. I think they're just held on by like a small piece of tape or something. Yeah, they're just taped on. So if I just pull this off like that, it should just come right off. There we go. There's the hood strap. Got the opening hood. And then we'll get this off. That held shut the trunk. And then we have this one in the middle here that's holding shut the doors. This is sometimes kind of hard to get off with the tape and everything. Actually, there we go. All right. There's the Thunderbird. Love that retro look to it for sure. I think that's one of the best aspects of this particular car. So if I can get some of this dust off first, and then we'll see if the hardtop can be removed from the model. All right, got the model pretty well cleaned up. There was a few little scuff marks here and there, but they were able to just come right off with a gentle cleaning. So I was glad to see that. Now we'll see if this actually has the removable hardtop. It should actually just pop off, I think. We'll see. Might have to pry it up somehow. Nope, it's on there pretty tight, as you can see, when you lift up the car like that. Let's see if I can try to get it off. All right, so I was able to get it loosened in the front here. I just held the windshield gently, and then I just kind of gently went back and forth like that. And it will vary per model, so be very careful when trying to get the hardtop removed from this particular model. How it is attached is that there's actually two pegs in the front part of the top that fit through two holes that are built into the plastic sun visors. And they're melted in a slight bit. So you might have to use an X-Acto knife or remove the top by taking apart the base of the model. So just be very careful when trying to get the top off the model. I was able to get this one off, as you can see here, simply enough just by working it. I didn't have to use any tools to do so. I thought I would have to use like a little screwdriver or something just to get the back portion pried off. But the part you have to be careful with is the front portion. Here's the two pegs, and here's the two holes that are in the sun visors. But this hardtop does come off, at least on the original release of this particular model from Maisto, and it looks really cool. So there's our 2002 Ford Thunderbird in torch red. Of course, you have the removable hardtop as one cool feature. You got the opening rear trunk, the opening hood, and the opening doors. Really cool model. That two-tone black and red interior looks really awesome in this particular, paired up with the torch red exterior paint scheme. Very nice. Already have several T-Birds in my collection, but I'm always happy to add another one. And this red one I thought was definitely well worth the buy. Looks very nice. Now, I won't do like a full review of this model because I already did a full review on the black version that I have, along with the concept version, both also made by Maisto. This is pretty much identical in terms of details and quality to those two versions that I have of this model. I would say that for this red version, the shut lines are definitely better, at least as far as the hood goes. There is still a gap, at least on this side here, but on the gloss black version that I have, the gap kind of goes across the whole length of the front of the hood. And that really isn't a big deal on that version because, you know, with the black paint and with the gap, it kind of hides it. But when you look at that model up close, you can really see the gap. I think the paint on the hardtop on this version matches up mostly well with the metal portions of the car, but I think on the black version, the paint matches up a little bit better. This is a slight bit darker, I think, in terms of finish than the paint that you see on the metal portions of the car. I think this is just molded in like red plastic. I'm not sure if it's actually painted or not. That being said, you can't really tell that this is a plastic top that you can remove from the model until you look at it up close and then actually try to remove it like I did. And once again, be very careful if you are getting one of these Thunderbirds by Maisto, like out of their boxes for the first time, and the roof was not previously removed, because it is kind of hard to do. And like I said, you just have to be careful with removing it from the front because it is held down by those two pegs that are drilled into those holes in the sun visors. But if you kind of are just careful and patient with it, eventually these hardtops should come off. In terms of the newer releases of these Thunderbird models, Maisto, I think, redid the casting in like the mid to late 2000s or so. And they re-released it both in the torch red that you see here along with the evening black that I have as well. And those are pretty much identical to the original releases of this model from 2001, except sometimes you'll see the Thunderbird badge stamped on the headrest as opposed to the seat back. And I think there are just some very minor like detail differences between the older versions of this casting by Maisto and the newer versions of this casting by Maisto. And apparently I have seen on some online Thunderbird forums that the hardtops on those newer versions, and by newer versions, if you see one in like the blue and silver style of Maisto Special Edition box, that is a newer release. The hardtops on those are a bit more challenging to remove than the hardtops on the older versions of the model. So just something that I found online. I haven't actually tried it out for myself, but just keep that in mind too when you're purchasing one of these Thunderbird models by Maisto. But yeah, aside from that, all the good details and quality that you saw on those other two models on those other two Thunderbirds that I have by Maisto are present for this red version. Of course, again, you do have that working steering and suspension as well. So yeah, I really do like the Thunderbird, especially the final generation version of the car. And once again, I know it's not really everyone's like favorite car. A lot of people did criticize it for its looks, and I think it would have been nice if they did have this be like a 4-seater as opposed to a 2-seater, and I think they would have probably sold some more just for that reason alone, and perhaps having it like at a lower price when Ford initially sold the car from the 2002 through 2005 model years. But yeah, once again, I was glad to get yet another one of these newer Thunderbird models in 1/18 scale to add to my collection. And yeah, I probably won't be getting any more Thunderbird models because now I have 4 of the 11th gen Thunderbird models in 1/18 scale and 2 of the 1st gen Thunderbird models in 1/18 scale. So I'm definitely glad that I have all of these because they're all unique in some form or fashion, whether it's the color or the model year that they're modeled after, and just on things like that. But I guess I'll show you some of the additional details on here. But yeah, the engine is pretty much identical, except because this is the red model, they paint these two components red instead of black, like the black version has, and that kind of pale yellow that the concept version has. But aside from that, the engine detail is exactly the same. Same thing with the interior detail as well. We'll take off the hard top so you can get a better look in there. Same interior as the black version that Maisto made, where you have the very nice two-tone black and red look to the interior. I always did like this full accented red and black interior option that you could get on the 02 through 05 Ford Thunderbirds. You could get this interior either with the red version, the white version, or the black version of the car when they were all sold. So really nice to see. And like I said in the other videos that I've done of other versions of this model, I really do like the fine detail on the interior of the model for sure. And of course, you also have the opening trunk too. Not really a whole lot to see in there, but I'm glad that Maisto included that nonetheless. So not really a whole lot more to say on this model, I guess, because I have done so many different videos on this in the past, because I've now bought 4 of these things. Well, I have 3 by Maisto and then 1 by the Beanstalk group, which is loosely based off the Maisto casting. But that one is, I think, definitely better detailed than the Maisto version of this car. But yeah, again, I'm happy that I found this for the price that I got it at. $30 in total. Definitely not much to complain about there, because, you know, this model has been discontinued for quite some time. Anyway, that's really all I have to say in terms of just the overall details and features of this model, and in terms of comparing it to the several other versions of this model that I have as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed yet another Thunderbird video on my channel. And yeah, feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the video or on this model. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see some more detailed videos or detailed reviews of this particular model from Maisto, be sure to check out my unboxing and review of the black 2002 Ford Thunderbird that I have, as well as the yellow 1999 Ford Thunderbird concept car that I have, and the Beanstalk group model as well. I also have a review of that one. And then in addition to that, I also did a video where I compared the details of the Beanstalk and the Maisto 11th generation Ford Thunderbird models. So they'll pretty much have all the information you'll want to know in terms of, I guess, the finer details and the comparisons of both versions of this 11th gen Thunderbird model. So yeah, once again, feel free to comment down below with your thoughts on the video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.